all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Yeah. All my life, been grinding all my life. Yeah. Sacrifice.
Hey everybody, I'm Rebecca and welcome to Money and Legacy Talk, where I teach you how to get the most out of your money. Now, if you're interested in learning more about personal finance and investing, then go ahead and click the subscribe button below and join our community. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just close your eyes and envision the life of your dreams and someone just hands it to you on a silver platter? That would be nice, but for the average person, that's just not going to happen. You're going to have to put in the work and earn your leisure. You're going to have to bust a move and grind for it. One of the major keys to unlocking success in life is hustle. Now, you hear people all the time talk about getting a side hustle because it requires additional effort beyond the status quo. Now, unless you just want to live a life where you're barely getting by, you've got to have drive. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. Now, if you want more money, you've got to hustle. Of course, there are millions of people out there who have a strong work ethic and take pride in working hard and sacrificing to get ahead and to excel and not just be the status quo. You may very well be one of them. You're not looking for a handout. You're able and willing to do what it takes to get what you want. But on the flip side, there are also this culture of entitlement where people want special treatment regardless of whether they've earned it or not. And you might be surrounded by family or work in an environment where that is plagued with a sense of entitlement. People who just arrogantly believe that they deserve a certain level of unreasonable privileges without putting in the work. They want the position without earning it. They want the promotion without meeting the requirements. When you have a sense of entitlement, you want everything given to you. You want the shortcut. You want the path of least resistance. Now, we all want the path of least resistance, but the easy route can be problematic if it causes us to miss the bigger picture. Now, I might live around the corner from a McDonald's restaurant, but if I want a healthy meal, I might have to drive across town to get it. So the path of least resistance is not always the best route. Yeah, I can get food at McDonald's, but it's not going to be good for my health. You get what I'm saying? Now, the best time to grind and hustle is from your early 20s and your mid 40s while you're still young and you have an abundance of energy and stamina. Now, if you're over your mid 40s and you're still behind the 8 ball, then you're going to have to continue to hustle up using your level of endurance where you are right now. So it's best to dedicate those early 25 years to hustling so that you can enjoy the leisurely life later on in life. Okay, so let me share a story about how driven and determined I was to rise out of the status quo. Now, this was decades ago. I was 33 years old and I reached a certain level in my career where I was stuck. I realized that in order for me to advance, I needed more than just a 4-year college degree. Now, I had already been working 10 years in corporate taxes, but I had hit a ceiling. I needed a master's degree in order to get to that next level. I was tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. So I got a part-time job and enrolled in graduate school, majoring in accounting and taxation. And fortunately, my employer paid for my degree. And let me tell you just how determined I was. I would get off from my full-time job at 5 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, I would head over to Lenox Square Mall, where I worked at Mark Shell, a specialty store for men and women over at the mall. I would work there from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., I was in night classes at Mercer University working on my graduate degree. For 3 years, my head never hit the pillow before midnight. I'd be up again at 5 a.m. doing it all over again. I mean, I was hustling, I was grinding. And I can tell you it was well worth the sacrifice. That MBA helped advance my career to where I was earning a 6-figure salary when I quit my corporate job in 2008 to become a full-time entrepreneur, debt-free. And I'm still driven today because there is yet another level of financial success that I aspire to. Now, although I'm in excellent health, I don't have the physical stamina that I had when I was 33. Now, I've had setbacks in business, but I do have the endurance and the vehicles in place to achieve my current financial goals. And if you're not satisfied with the level of your financial success, it's up to you to change it. Your success in life is your responsibility. It's not your teacher, it's not your parents, it's not your employer. You have to put in the work. And entitlement is a toxic trait because it distorts your worldview of yourself. And let me give you an example of how toxic self-entitlement can be. There's a member of Congress by the name of George Santos. You probably know who he is. He was elected this past November of 2022. He's 34 years old and he represents New York's 3rd Congressional District. And he was determined to land that position by hook or crook, and that's exactly what he did. He conned his way into Congress, and when he got caught in his web of narcissism and lies, he just shrugged it off, admitted the allegations were all true, and dug his heels in despite calls for his resignation. Even from members of his own party wanted him to resign. Now, to be fair, there have been questionable people elected to Congress, but typically you know what you're dealing with. We knew who Donald Trump was before he was elected. He showed us who he was. But who was this George Santos? What was he doing from that age of 20 to 34? And how did he slip through the cracks? Well, he took the shortcut. He lied. He lied about his education. He lied about his wealth. He lied about his unemployment and connection. He even lied about who his parents were. And he has used more than one name. But in truth, or allegedly, during his young adult life, he lived with his parents in their basement and worked for various low-paying jobs such as call center, customer service representative. As a congressman, he makes $174,000 a year, a far cry from a customer service representative. And he fell through the cracks because people rarely check credentials. And New York is a population of around 9 million people. And Santos serves the wealthiest congressional district in New York and the 4th wealthiest district in the nation altogether. And his district has a population of 740,000 people with a median income of $125,000 a year. A 93% high school graduation rate, a 55% college graduation rate, 64% are white, 51% are female, and 49% are male. And he's already filed for re-election in 2024. Now, I do believe that it's only a matter of time before he crashes and burns one way or the other. More likely than not, it will be through his re-election attempt. I seriously doubt he'll get booted out of Congress. They don't care about qualification. They just want votes. Now, you might think that this is an isolated case or an extreme example of self-entitlement, but it's not. Entitlement culture is not just limited to young people either. It can be problematic in older people as well. And how do people develop a sense of entitlement anyway? Research has pointed to several factors such as how people are treated by their parents and other authority figures, messages on social media, and other life events, especially those that make people feel that they are special. And let's look at 3 factors that contribute to a culture of entitlement. Okay, number 1 is parents. Now, parents can unintentionally cultivate an attitude of entitlement in their children. Children don't have self-control. They want what they want. When you tell a child no, but turn around and give in to their demands, you're rewarding their behavior, giving them this false sense of entitlement rather than influencing them in the right direction of accountability, responsibility, and respect. Another mistake parents make is overpraising their children by telling them you can be whatever you want to be, you can do whatever you want to do. You can't just exaggerate their potential without giving them the caveat, or you may be training them to feel entitled. You have to make them aware that there are conditions. Yes, you can have what you want, but there are conditions and responsibilities, not just carte blanche, you can have whatever you want. And apparently, George Santos was never told that with power comes responsibility. Now let's move on to factor number 2, and that is authority figures such as teachers and school administrators. Remember Lori Loughlin, the actress from Full House, and her husband, Gianelli? They went to prison in 2020 for fraud, bribery, and racketeering for paying $500,000 to get their two daughters into USC as crew recruits, even though neither of them were rowers. They didn't know how to row. They weren't on the row team. One of USC's athletic administrators was fired, was arrested, and also charged with conspiring to commit racketeering, fraud, and bribery. And these are three grown people with a sense of entitlement. These aren't the daughters. Now, those girls didn't deserve to be on that team. They hadn't earned it, but their parents conspired with the administrator at USC. They were arrogant and had this sense of unreasonable privilege, and all three of them paid the price for it. And the third factor is the media, and more specifically, social media. Social media can be a blessing and it can be a curse. It allows us to share information and connect in real time, and that's a good thing. But it's also used as a platform to just whine and cry and play the victim. Now, we all remember the slap that was heard around the world at last year's Oscar ceremony. Will Smith storms the stage and slaps the narrator, Chris Rock, after Chris makes a joke about Will's wife, Jada, and told Chris to keep Jada's blankety-blank name out of his mouth. Now, you talk about a sense of entitlement. He went right back to his seat with no repercussion, accepted that award, and partied all night long. Now, Chris didn't retaliate immediately. Now, he could have had Will Smith arrested and dragged out of that building without even being able to accept that award. He could have sued him for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but he didn't. Now, he waited a year before deciding to roast Will and Jada during his live Netflix special entitled Selective Outrage that aired earlier this month, and he didn't hold back. And how did Will respond from this thumping from Chris this time? According to social media, Will was embarrassed, hurt, and he just couldn't believe how Netflix would air something so disgraceful. I mean, Will was like, how dare you? You see what a toxic trait entitlement is? It causes a distorted worldview of oneself. He didn't think about what he did. He was entitled to be respected in spite of what he did. And these are three examples of factors that contribute to a culture of entitlement. Now the question becomes, are you reinforcing a culture of entitlement, or do you fall into that culture of entitlement? Hands out, shortcuts, free lunches, feeling that you deserve without earning or putting in the work, arrogantly believing that you have unreasonable privileges. Maybe racism wasn't the reason you didn't get the job. Maybe sexism wasn't the reason that you didn't get the promotion. Maybe homophobe wasn't the reason that you didn't get the contract. Maybe it wasn't the haters is the reason that you didn't make the team. Perhaps the reason that you didn't get what you want is because you didn't earn it. You didn't put in the work. You didn't have what it takes. The best antidote for entitlement is accountability. And if you have dreams of a bigger life and financial freedom, it's your responsibility to earn your leisure. Don't whine about it. Don't cry about it. Don't blame other people. Take responsibility, put in the work, and grind for it. And I guarantee the reward will be greater than the sacrifice.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. All my life.